I'm on location. This is the spot where Church of Yahushai usually meets, right around here. You see the Ambassador House sign back there, and you also see the graffiti right there, but it's been cleaned over. So usually you'll see them standing in front of that graffiti, but here we are.
And just my comprehension is just too complex.
Greater than your Benz or your Lex. The engine to my comprehension is just too complex.
Much too complex.
Greater than your Benz or your Lex. The engine to my comprehension is just too complex.
Shalom to the house of Israel. All right. Shalom to the Bayafada Wada. I have to be here in this location, this unknown location. All right, because obviously you all know, for those who follow, and I left a clip, in the introduction before I start, before the video starts, you will see an introduction in regard to, an agent, looking for us. All right, obviously we have to use, we have to apply wisdom in such times, in times like these. It's time like this we have to apply wisdom. All right, I mean, to each its own in a way. And as far as the churches, we got different way to operate, right? We got different way to operate. So, people are different, but we catching the fire. We've been catching the fire for a long time, as far as this church, right? So, we have to move accordingly. And when you read the Bible, it tells you about Paul having to sleep in a basket, all right, to get out of town because they're wanting him, all right. And the reason why the brother, what's his name, Mayama, Malaka Mayama, I decided to take a break. He has his own reason, but I believe everything is spiritual. So the Most High put a spirit on him, all right, to decide to take some time off to, the Most High did that. And then, because we've been doing the work for 4 years, and he's been very diligent, all right, in and out, he did the work, everything, but at some point, okay, the Most High said, okay, you did yours, you accompany us in the new one and everything, the new one season, even before that, a very brilliant reader, and now I want you to do something else. That's how the Most High works. You know what I mean? That's how the Most High works. Doesn't mean that he took his hand off the plow. I don't think so. Anything that happened behind the scene, just know that the Most High, is the one, is the author of everything. So the point is, he did that. The Spirit put that, that will to kind of like take a sit back, because he knew that in that period of time there was going to be an ambush from your vocab Malone, the only, the only, vocab Malone. You know what he does, man. And I really went into it and I studied this guy, and he's a government agent, man. So it's not even good to how can I say that, to entertain him. That's why GMS said that when he come, call the police, which won't do nothing because they're part of the same thing. All right, we in these times, man, people need to understand what's really going on, bro. So that's the reason why you see me now. Like I say, I'm not gonna come out like that. My time, in the highway byways, and the teaching is over. But if the Spirit show me something which is a little information, the video is gonna be short. It's just an information that I'm sending to the people that are learning, the understanding. Or remember, the casting, when you read Ezekiel, no, not Ezekiel, when you read Isaiah, I believe 25, right? Isaiah 25, right, Isaiah 25, and what does he say? And 5, he say, 7, right? He say, Isaiah 25 and 7, he say, and he will destroy in this mountain, right, which is that mountain, the Edomite mountain, because they're the one on high right now. They're the one that ruling, with the other nation, but mainly them. All right, he said, and he will destroy in his mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. All right, and the veil that is spread over all nations, man. But Esau has done number, You know, Esau has done a number. I'm working with a lot of these Assyrian and Asian Babylonian, which are the Ethiopian, the Eritrean, or believe it or not, you know, I will prove it. That's the information that I'm bringing today because, you know, as the Iran war is going, which I stopped, you know, for some reason, which is really, you know, the rumor of wars, you know, and prophecy. It has nothing to do with Ezekiel 38, you know what I'm saying? Because where was Russia in that battle? Because when you read Ezekiel 38, it clearly tells you that, you know, Gog and Magog, we've partnered with the Persian and Ethiopia, and I broke it down. I've been breaking it down, and I'll break it down more to the best of my ability for people to understand that Iran is not a Persian. When you look at ancient picture of the original Persian, these were dark-skinned people. Now, you may say that there were, you know, they went there, right? In Iran, black people were there. Yes, but the kingdom, all right, in Africa, didn't have to go outside of Africa to establish themselves. Why? Because Africa is a rich, all right, it's a place where you can actually start a civilization. That's the reason why everything started there, because the way the Mosai enriched the soil, you can build a civilization with all the elements. So you don't need to go outside, you know, toward a less, you know, better, you know, land to do that. It wouldn't make sense. So when brothers, when you apply wisdom, you need to apply with understanding. You need to apply with logic, man. You know what I'm saying? And you need to be like the Berean Christian where you go actually and study it for yourself. Yes, the elder, like I say, you know, big up to the elders, you know, that did the thing. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here today. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there's certain thing that they thought that they themselves thought was right, but actually found out that, you know, because they went to the Babylonian school. They took the Babylonian Jews from when they were young. The school system, you know, the understanding, the philosophy, the mentality, all of that, you know, kind of like, that's why it talks about the covering cast. All right, but before I start, I will, you know, Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashama, Amashaha, Ya'awsha'ai, Baraka Afar, man. Baraka Afar. All right, so that's what I was saying. You know, the covering cast, man, is coming up. You know, so now people may say that the new wine, you know, because it's like, where are you? Like one brother asked the question, he was like, where are you? And I gave him, you know, the John 3, you know, and I'll read it. Obviously, I read it, Isaiah 25:7, the covering cast, a lot of the truth will come out now. You know, Iran is not the Persian, bro. These were dark people from what's it called, North Africa today. The Libya area, going down to Niger, all those people that you see Chad. There's a lot of things that we've been told that, you know, we have now to go into and really understand what the whole thing is about. Remember, Amalek, you know, has set up his pseudo-reality, pseudo-truth to control his own narrative, which is why, you know, we were captive, because to be captive was to be blinded. And in order for you to be blinded, the truth has to be taken out, you know, buried underground, and we have to bring a false reality, you know, a false truth, so a pseudo truth, I would say, you know, for you to believe. Otherwise, you will remember, because the Bible says in Jeremiah 17:4 that we will discontinue from my identity. Your identity is what you know, is the truth of who you are. The reason why you discontinue from your identity is because you wouldn't have certain information. But he said that in the land of the captivity, they should remember themselves, right? That's what he's saying, the precept saying that. I don't know if it's Habakkuk, but he says that, right? So we remembering ourselves, meaning we will get back everything that was hidden, now will come to the surface. But meanwhile, we were given a certain dose of the gospel that was just like when you're a Christian. Even though we know that the Christians are bugged out, you know, so to speak. But at the end of the day, they are what you call, how can I say that? They have a notion of what God is. Even if they know that there's a Savior, they may think that the Savior is for every nation. They may think that the Savior doesn't go a color. They may think that the Savior is white, is not black. They may think that his name is Jesus. But at the end of the day, they have a notion. And the Mosai, for a lot of these guys in the truth, I mean, in the churches, so-called churches, in the Christian churches, a lot of them, the Mosai winked at their ignorance. because there is an elect as well among that bunch, among that fold. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing as well in this truth. There is degrees. The more you go up and up and up, and you understand it. And the reason why this church is being persecuted the way it is, coming back to what I was saying, that's the reason why. You cannot speak a certain truth and, you know, and Esau ain't gonna do some sort of things. Now, right now, the agents are all over the place. You gotta understand that there's people that are infiltrated, you know, in this thing of ours, man. There's people that pose to be the men of the Lord, but actually work for Esau. So this is the time that we're in. So when the brother asked the question, where are all the brothers? Yeah, that's what you see. So I gave him this. You know, I commented and I gave him this. That's John, which it's the same precept that I bought last time when I was out there. Like I said, I won't be out there like that anymore, because that time is gone now. You know, I'll be from time to time until the Most High. If you don't see me, you don't see me. If you see me, you see me. That's how it's gonna be. You know, that's the spirit. And before I read that, actually, let me read it and break it down. So John 3:7 says, I will say 7. Marvel not that I say it unto thee, ye must be born again. All right? Because a lot of brothers don't understand the whole thing about the spirit. Like people used to say, what spirit are you under? But now you clearly see, when we were doing the new wine, right? It was miracle after miracle. But you call it, they give it a term. I forgot that term. All right? But now you see, the first time Vocal Mother wanted to speak to us, that was at some point when right after the season of the new wine ended, you know, he left a comment. He couldn't find us. He didn't know where we were, you know, and he left a comment. And the second time now, the spirit put that energy on the brother, the reader, to take some time off, to say, look, I'm taking some time off, like, you know, that's it, and things like that. And I'm like, okay, since I'm spiritual, like, see, when the brother comes to me with certain things, I don't question. I'm like, and when I question the spiritual, like, what's going on here? What are you mostly trying to tell me? Okay, now the answer came. So I say, instead of going by myself, let me fall back and let the Most High tell me why he put the spirit on the brother to say that's it. What's going on here? And I got my answer by when Vocal Malo came and did a video about showing the location of us doing the work. And I'm like, who showed him this place? Who? There must be someone that showed him. And I guarantee you, it's someone that's familiar, you know, somewhere in London like that. Show the place, man. Or you gonna tell me that it's AI he was able to find? No, he didn't find it himself. Apparently he had a driver that drove him, or that drove him if he gone, or still driving him if he's still around. But he just ain't gonna be able to find me, because the spirit is working. So for people that doubt about our ministry, that's he came and he didn't find us, because the Most High made it in a way where I couldn't come, you know, because of the brother and me having to sit down and think about what does it mean. You know, I was able to avoid that. I would have been ambushed. Now people say ambushed, but people say that, oh, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. No. If you read what I read about the brother, yeah, if you read what I read about it, or what I received about the brother, about that guy, which I believe is a Jake, a speckled bird, it's not an Edomite. Yeah, because they use our own people against us as well. You got to understand that. Even that guy from the Covenant Pro Hoover, if you look at his eyes, you can see that that's a speckled bird, because there's a lot of speckled bird in America and in Europe, you know. The one that we call the bastard children of Israel. You know, not because they're bastard, but bastard in terms of, you know, how the whole thing of these mixed race came about in the dark ages. They weren't accepted by Jake, so they became bastards. They weren't recognized. They didn't sign the paper to say, oh, I recognize him as my. A lot of the time they had to fight to get him later on into the wheel so they can have like a portion or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And William the Conqueror was a bastard. He had to fight to get his. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we say he's a bastard, not because they're a bastard, but at the end of the day, they're Jake. You know what I'm saying? So this guy, if you read what I read or what I received about his brother, you wouldn't even entertain him, man. You wouldn't, because he come with cameras and he come with a lot of things. But all of that is the Most High working, so I can't really complain. I'm just glad that it spared me. You know what I'm saying? It spared me, man. And I thank the Most High for that. It spared me. I don't want to deal with none of these guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's going to be. When the time comes, you won't find some of the men of the Lord because the Spirit will be on them to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? And if it's meant for certain men to be put to death, that's because the Most High has written it. Like when you read, but let me read John 3 and I will go to that. So John 3 and 8 say, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is very one that is born of. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. And when you read the NLT version, it say the wind blows wherever it wants, whatever it wants, just as you can hear the wind but can't tell where it comes from or where is it going. So you can't explain how people are born of the Spirit. So that means that, people that have the Spirit on them, they move a certain way. They're not going to be traditional. Some churches have to be out there to do the work, keep doing what you're doing. But as for us, it's not going to be like you think. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to go into the whole thing, because that's not why I'm here. I just wanted to start at an introduction, because obviously brothers need to do this. There's a lot of people that follow us and don't understand what's going on. We are in a time now. Yeah? 1 minute we hear, the next minute, and that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? All I'm going to give as advice, and that's just because, I did the work with some brothers, and, I known brothers at some point. Beware, man. There's a lot of infiltration in this thing. So some people need to, it's good sometimes to take some time, man. You can't be, even when when you go a plantation and you sow a seed, you don't go and work on you sow a seed for a period of time. That's the point. After that, you go fall back to let the earth do what it does. But you can't be tilling the ground as you're going to destroy the seed. You're going to destroy it, man. You understand? You're going to destroy it. So sometimes, the point is this. Some brothers are in a situation where these agents are around them doing the work with them. So you need to take some time off and pray for the Most High to reveal you that certain thing. But then again, that's how the Most High works. It is what it is. Maybe it was meant to be like that. But let me go on to Revelation 6. So us not being, because the folk at Malone say that, such a I ain't slacking in London. No, we're not slacking, Malone. We're not slacking. It's all through the Spirit, Malone. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't understand that. Because you just want like the debate, the this and that. No, man, we're not here for debate. This is serious business. We have to wake our people up and to give them the energy that is needed, because we are entering a new phase. You know what I'm saying? We are entering a new phase where the kingdom is about to be manifested. But before that kingdom is manifested, there is a trial period. So we're here to wake our people up to know what time it is. So, when you know what's wrong with you, you can deal with that better. So that's the whole purpose of us being out there and waking up our people, man. All right? Waking up our people, man. My mouth is dry. Salaka. Let me see if I can get some more. Yeah. So yeah, I have to come in this. I like the nature, man. It's something about nature. I have to come here to do the work, right? So Revelation 6, and 10, he say, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and he was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servant also and the brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. And that happened as well a lot in the Dark Ages, when Henry VIII and other kings started the whole how can I say that, the whole reformation period, where they kind of like pluck themselves out of that, that Catholicism madness. It was war, man. It was war. A lot of blood of the saint was shed. So a lot of people that are back today, knowing the truth and this and that, these are the same people that were there back then, So now, let me give the information quickly, and then I will say shalom. Yeah, it will be a quick one, man. It won't even be like I don't think it will be an hour. Let's see. So I was fasting, right? And then after the fast, the Spirit revealed something to me, and I just wanted to share it. All right, I just wanted to share it. But if we start with again the, what do you call it, the Euphrates, because that's a big stumbling block. The Euphrates, the river Euphrates, the location of the river Euphrates is a big stumbling block. It's a big stumbling block, because people don't even know, like, where it is. They go on Google and they will assume that, oh, the river, even the GMS, I would say the church that I consider outside of my church is GMS. You know what I mean? For obvious reason. But even them, sometimes I listen to them and I'm like, wow. And there's one brother, one elder, Washawamba, that was talking about, someone left a comment about Africa, being the land, and Assyria being in Africa. And he was saying that, no, a lot of the brothers are into that Africa spirit. I don't understand. But he made a point, was like, obviously, the land is kind of like, near the Africa, so, but it's not even that. The land is not even, the land is in Africa. You know what I'm saying? That all these ancient kingdoms are in Africa. They weren't outside of Africa, man. It don't make no sense. And I will give you see, when you start reading the Bible, when you start reading the words, because it says, blessed is he that readeth, right? But to read is to comprehend, to read is to understand what you're reading. You can read the Bible back and forth and not understand this new one, this understanding, this the fresh, the high level of the gospel. And you will go against it when you read the Bible. A lot of brothers, me included, we started off listening to the elders that show us the precept upon precepts, way, to break down this and that, so we stopped on that. But even when we read the Bible, we read it in that mind frame. You know what I'm saying? We read it in that understanding. But if you come out a bit of that box, right, and you read it for yourself, man, you'll be amazed, man. You'll find precepts like, whoa, the more you read the Bible, the more you find certain things for yourself. You know what I'm saying? When the new one was shown to me through the brother, Malaka, Ashana, I went and did my own thing as well, and I started to like, wow. I'm like, okay, so the Spirit actually is working, man. The Spirit can reveal things to you. So that's what I would like to. So now, there's a little reference here. It's a book, about Africa, and it's like, and he say this. It's just a little, I took a little piece of it. It say, in this kingdom of, in this kingdom of Armenian, so even the Armenian, Armenia is Syria. Yeah, the Aramean, sorry, Aramean. I don't know if now the Armenian is like a flip of that word Aram, which I think it is, which is a Syrian. It's not the Syria that we know. No, these are new nations. They're not biblical nation. Yeah, now there are a residue of the ancient nation by way of mixing, but they're not the original. Like, for example, the Saudi Arabian, all of these people, it's a mix of other, like Ottoman, you know, which I believe they say that the Ottoman people are the Amalek who took on Islam, and you got the Greeks. So all of that now they mix themselves with the original, you know, seed of Ishmael that went into Yemen and all those areas. But even the Ishmael, they started in Africa, which is in Sudan. I say that, which I will do a lesson on. I don't know when I'm going to do a lesson. I don't even know if I'm going to do a lesson on it. But this is a thing I'm giving you through the Spirit, so you can. So tomorrow, when the whole thing is set, you will understand that. Oh, someone already spoke about that. Everything started in Africa. The Edomite were in Africa. The Moabite were in Africa. In Congo or Kenya, there is a lineage. They say that they got a Chinese lineage going back to 6,000 years, no, 600 years or something like that, or more than that, thousands of years. All right, the Moabites, the plain of Moab was somewhere around Congo, man. That's why the Chinese went back in those areas, and then going to do business with them. They went back. Even the European coming back, because it's like the whole thing about the birthright. Because remember, Jacob took the birthright. And that's how he was given the land, the fatness of the land. The fatness of the land is in Africa. I can't believe that people think that the fatness of the land is America. I don't believe that. I can't believe it. The fatness means the richest place is Africa, man. All right? So he says here, in this kingdom of Aramean, there enter a branch of the river Euphrates, and they put in bracket Niger. You know, when they say, they call it nigger, because of that, there's a place called Niger, and that Niger is that river Niger, which is in West Africa, is connected to Euphrates, which is upper. Euphrates is the last. You know, when you go to four rivers, you go to the Tigris, something like Tigris River, and you got a people called the Tigray people between Eritrea and Ethiopia. The Tigray people. I even worked with one guy that's from that land, and we talk about that all the time. And he told me that, yeah, Dad, know that's what he's talking about. But all this Jake doesn't understand these things. These people know who we are. They know, they understand the stars. Just like Africa was called Al-Kabulan, which is, you know, the garden of the garden of Eden. So the river Nile, like I gave you one as well, one understanding coming from the blue letter, where it shows you that the branch of the Nile, one branch of the Nile, the Euphrates. Euphrates is an arms of the Nile. And there's a book that's testifying that, that's showing it. All right, so you say in brackets, Niger, you say the friar does not confuse this with, you see that, and now they flip it, the Mesopotamian Euphrates, you see, but assume two rivers with the same name. All right, so then they're flipping now, and I will say that I'll put that on the edit, right? So there's so many books, so they had to take the Euphrates and bring it somewhere. See, basically they have to bring everything that was linked to, because King David says that, you know, the borders of Israel started from where? From the Euphrates, all the way to the going down of the sun, which is the west side. Now they moved it on the other side and say it's this, but I'd like to ask you a question. When, you know, when Abraham leave Egypt, right? Where does he go? He goes south. So Egypt is there, he goes south. But Egypt is there and then telling us that the land is up. But it didn't tell us that it was told that Abraham should go north, but instead he was told that Abraham should go south. You see? When you look at things like that, you can't just despise it, because you still have that mind. And a lot of brothers as well, they're scared, like I said last time, you know, because the leader has spoken about something, it stays like that, which is okay, because at the end of the day, in the wilderness, after salvation in the wilderness, the Most High will kind of correct all of that. So it's all right, you can stay, where you want to stay in that. But if the Spirit is revealing us something, we ain't gonna shut up. It don't make no sense to shut up. You understand? It don't make no sense to shut up, man. Right? Now, Jacob was known, when you read Deuteronomy 26:5, Jacob was known. Let me read it. Jacob was known as a Syrian. Right? Jacob was known as a Syrian, man. Does it mean that we're talking about that Syrian, that country over there that called Syria? No. Laban was a Syrian, Armenian, East Africa, and we're not going to go into it. I'm speaking, but when I'm going to bring that precept and I'm going to make the connection, you will understand. It's a quick information anyway. It ain't going to be, ain't going to be long. So when you go to Deuteronomy 26:5, right? 26:5. It says, and thou shalt speak and say before the Lord thy God, a Syrian ready to perish was my father, and he went down into Egypt, and so sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation great, mighty, and populous. So if Jacob went in because of the famine, he went into Egypt and came out, he ain't gonna go outside Africa. When the Moses said, I will give you a land that is fat and rich, where milk and honey flows, it's gonna be in Africa, and we're gonna go into it. All right. So I have to repeat myself, because now that we know here how to teach. The little that I receive, I'll give it to you whenever the Most High permits. So brothers that are following it will follow, so they can keep that faith and understand that you're not listening to no reprobate. You listen to the Spirit, and that's real talk. All right. So now, when you go but actually, let me read the NLT version of Deuteronomy 6:5. It says, you must then say in the presence of the Lord your God, my ancestor Jacob was a wandering Aramean who went to live as a foreigner in Egypt. His family arrived few in number, but in Egypt they became a large and mighty nation. So if Syria is over there, you mean to tell me that he left that place and he went all the way, to Egypt? It don't make no sense, because after Egypt, the Moses said, go back south, and south is Canaan, and Canaan means low land. So from that, Egypt, when you look, it's low land. So it must be south. Toward West Africa, starting from Congo, man. You see, so let's carry on. Let me read Genesis 13:1. Let's see what it says. Genesis 13:1. And it says, and Abraham went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. NLT version. So Abraham left Egypt and traveled north into the Negev, along with his family, with his wife and Lot, and all their and all that they own. Now, when you go into the term Negev, it means south. Check it yourself. Negev means south. You understand what I'm saying? Because he said north, it's like, oh, but he said he went up north. What about Negev? Negev means south. You got to study, man, to show yourself a proof. You can't just follow the trend. We don't follow no trend over here, Most High blessed us with the eyes, the ayana, to see to the best of our abilities. And then we do that, man. We carry on. You understand? Now, that's the meat now of the understanding that I wanted to bring. We're going to read Isaiah 37 and 38. All right? So my note says, Isaiah 37 and 38 show us that Nineveh, where Jonah was supposed to go, and go stuck somewhere in Joppa. Which Joppa, when you go into ancient text, Joppa was known somewhere in Morocco. You understand what I'm saying? Morocco, Asher. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, and all of that been wiped away. So because then we grew up and they told us that all these places outside Africa, we believed it. Nineveh is in East Africa. So he say, and Armenia shows us that Nineveh and Armenia was in East Africa. Why? Let's spiritually discern something key, right? Sennacherib, there's a guy called Sennacherib, the king of Assyria. King of Assyria was worshipping, listen to it properly, yeah, clearly, was worshipping his god called Nishroth, right? An eagle-head deity with human form. Now let's read it, and then we're gonna go into the understanding of what Nishroth, and you will understand. We're gonna link it back to Egypt, and you're gonna understand these guys were close to each other, man. It was the god of the region, man. So actually, the eagle that the European took, they didn't take it from, they took it from Egypt. Because our people, when even the Egyptian, the Philistine, the Hittite went into Greece as well. It's not just Jake that was living in Europe, you know. It was all those people as well that went there a long time ago, along with Jake. You understand that? So that brought their custom. That's why he says that the Grecian civilization came from Egypt. That's why he says that. So the eagle is not something that, you know, Esau took it, yes, as a symbolic. When you look at that eagle in America, it's not just an eagle, that's a spirit. That's Osiris, man. Oh no, Horus. Let's go into it. Let's go into it. You know what I'm saying? So that God, that Assyrian was worshiping the same God that the Egyptian was worshiping. Why? Because it's a proximity worshiping. It's like in Europe, they have a lifestyle. Everywhere you go in Europe, you're going to see a pub. Why? Because of Javan, the child of Japhet. Javan, which is Yayana, which means wine. So that spirit of wine is prevalent. Beer, wine, strong drink, cocktail, whatever you call it, is prevalent. It's prevalent in a, you know, it's predominant. I would say, you know, it's part of culture. It's culture in Europe because of that energy on them. Because this is the land that was given to the children of Japhet. So in East Africa, they worship a certain god. Like in West Africa, West Africa is dominated by the god, the worship, we call it Mamiwata, which is a Philistine god, Dagon, the fish god. And even in our currency, the franc CFA currency, if you look at the notes, one of the notes, it shows a fish god on it, man. So the spirit of the Philistine is predominant in West Africa still, even though it's full of jakes, but it's Philistine as well. So every region, every coast has a similar worship. Like West Africa is the Mamiwata spirit, the fish god. But in the east, it was Horus, Osiris, all of these guys. You understand? But let's read it. Let's read Isaiah 37 and 38. Isaiah 37. Isaiah 37 or 38. And he say, and it came to pass, as he was worshipping in the house of Nishroth, his god, that Adramelech and Sharezer his son smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia. So we know that, you see, they escaped into, they killed him in Assyria, and they went into Armenia. So actually these places are close to each other, but you're going to see something. And he say, and Esau Shaddon his son reigned in his stead. Right now, let's go into the niche rod. Let's go into the niche rod, man. Nishosh, right, which is Nasahaka. Yeah, Nasahaka. It means the great eagle. All right, the great eagle, an idol of Nineveh worshipped by Sennacherib, symbolized by the eagle-headed human figure. And when you read Ezekiel 1, it tells you about those spirits that have 4 faces. The one faces is a lion, eagle, lion, eagle, cow, and a human. All right. So when you see the spirit, they have an animal face, and that's why even the Sphinx. You see that Sphinx with the the Sphinx in I don't know if it's Giza or whatever, in Egypt. You see him like that, crouching, sitting down as a Sphinx, but his face is the human face, right? It's the same thing. They were worshiping those spirits. All right, those intelligent spirit that was giving them wisdom and things. That's what they were worshiping. Now let's go back to that Nishrosh. Let's go to Google and type the eagle-head deity in Egypt, right? Let's read it. It said the falcon-headed deity of ancient Egypt is Horus. He's one of the most significant gods in Egyptian mythology, right? Mythology, often depicted as a falcon or a man with the head of a falcon. Horus is primarily associated with the sky, kingship, and war. He is also known as a protector, particularly of a ruler of Egypt, who was believed to be the manifestation of Horus on earth. You see that? So that Sirop, yeah, that Nisroch, that great eagle, that God, that eagle, faces human, spirit, God, demon, whatever you call it. Well, it's Horus, the eyes of Horus. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they were worshiping. That's what that particular king, that's what they were worshiping in East. Lord, there was many gods, but that was one of the gods that was worshiping. All right, so if the Assyrian god is worshiping Horus, where's Assyria? Syria will be near Egypt, man. East Africa. Okay, because that was about wisdom, and we all know that these spirits give wisdom. When wisdom means a certain understanding how to rule, because they have a certain information. When you summon them, they give you knowledge. That's what's even the highest guys in Freemason. That's when after King Solomon was able to summon them, and so they can work for him, because he has both understanding, the left and the right. That's what he will consume by in the end. That's why he tells us that the reading of many books is not good for the body, telling you that getting knowledge on a certain level is dangerous. Even speaking certain knowledge, even the knowledge that I'm speaking right now is dangerous. But the reason why I'm doing it, because I was born to do it. So even if I'm scared and I have to do certain things, but I move a certain way, I can't escape my fate, I can't escape my destiny. The prophets are back today. So they're going to do what they're supposed to do. If I'm given the knowledge, why will I, even though we know that we can't do it like before, but hey, from time to time, we're going to dish it out, right? Now, that's the first information. There's enough information that I would like to give, so people can if you don't understand after that Assyria, Babylonian was, well, who say Assyria, we say Babylon, because it was the same land, isn't it? The Cushite was the Babylonian, but after that, the Assyrian became the Babylon. Babylonian just means mixed, in it. So it was mix of Shem and Cush. The Akkadian, the Sumerian, all right, the Sumerian are called, black-haired people, and Ethiopian means dark and burned face. It's the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So these people started in Africa. They were in Africa, man. The Sumerian is an African civilization. Sumeria, Akkadian, all of these people, Nimrod. I mean, come on, Nimrod, the son of Ham. He telling me he comes from the first king to ever create a civilization, started in Iraq. But it's Ham though. Ham mean hot. Kush mean dark. Bro, sometimes I don't understand, man. It's just like, but anyway, so I say that Isaiah 37 and 38 shows that Nineveh and Armenia was in East Africa, yeah, because when they killed that king, Those guys, the children of a certain guy, killed that king, and that were worshiping Horus. They're running to the next land, which is Armenia. So ancient Syria and Assyria, all of these is East Africa and the same place. They were near Egypt. Egypt is in East Africa. That's one thing they could, if they could take Egypt away from Africa, they would have done it. Even today, when you read the comment, they tell you, where Egypt is north, it's not. Egypt has nothing to do with Africa. I'm looking at this clown. I'm talking about the sun god. Sun god because it's a hot place, a rising sun. The sun brings the energy. The melanin is connected to the sun. We need, that's why in this country, a lot of the jakes don't have, they're low in vitamin D because it doesn't, the sun doesn't, shine all the time like that. It's most of the time it's cold. All right. So I say Isaiah 37 and 38 show us that Nineveh and Armenia was in East Africa. Why? Let's spiritually discern something key. Sennacherib, king of Assyria, was worshipping his god called Nisroch, an eagle-headed deity with human form. In my research, I discovered that the Egyptian called that particular deity Horus. All right, it was also a Babylonian idol. It goes to show that Assyria, Babylon, Nineveh, and Armenia was in East Africa. The deity was known not only to the Egyptian but to the neighboring lands. All right, and when you read Isaiah 43 and 14, let's read it. Isaiah 43 and 14. Isaiah 43 and 14 say, "Thus saith the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, for your sake I have sent to Babylon, and I brought down all the nobles and the Chaldeans whose cry is in the ships." All right, whose cry in the ships? So they go invade it, and that's how you know that, because the horn of, if you look at Eritrea and all these places, Somalia, all these places, Ethiopia, Somalia, all these places are in the horn of Africa, and that's where you see the ships coming. So that's actually the door. You go the Galilee, Galilee, which means like circle Galilee, which is the Mediterranean Sea, on the north, the Maghreb, Sokona, which is the west, upper west Africa. You go all that area like that. That's where a lot of things happen, historically, but they're trying to change it around. So you have to study to know and understand. All right. So the Eritrean, if you know Eritrean, they have the sea. They control the sea as well in East Africa. They got big ports and things like that, into big businesses. As far as the maritime businesses and things like that. So these are the ancient Chaldeans as well. That area there. It's not just Somalia. Go all the way. It was a big land, man. There's an ancient map, like I showed already, Senna. Senna is the Greek for Sumer, I believe. No, Shinar, which is in that area as well. But they kind of heated, man. They kind of heated. All right. Now, I'm gonna show you that one, and after that, I'll say Shalom. I will show you. If you don't get it after that one, that means you're not meant to get it. All right, you're not meant to. You will get a letter. You will get a letter or later. Oh man. So he says Isaiah 37 and 9, right? Let me read it quickly before I go into it. Isaiah 37 and 9. There's something that I couldn't believe in, man. They just leave. They think they could lie to us. If you take the time to read in the Spirit Zone, you're gonna find out. You're gonna crack that code, man. 37 and 9. It says, pay attention, right? It says, and he heard say concerning. Let me read verse 8. It says, so Rabshakeh, right? Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah. And when you go to Libnah, Libnah is a Judite town, and it means rubber tree. And a rubber tree, we call it EVA in French, is the one that they use for plastic. Obviously, the Chinese came with different technology, but they use plastic. They use out of that tree, you can, use plastic. And the first country that is well known in Africa that is well known for that, for the production of that, is Ivory Coast. All right. So Libna is a Judite place. So they used to war. They used to come from East Africa all the way and war, get King Ezekiah and all of that. That particular king. And he has like something called, I forgot the name, but I'll go into it. They have their own Bible, their own record in it. And that war between the Assyrian king Sennacherib and King Ezekiah is recorded in their own, records. That's how I know that the Bible is people say, oh, the Bible is no. The Bible is an historical book, my dear. Don't get it twisted. All right. So you say, so Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. Lachish as well was a well-known Judah town. Verse 9, and he heard say concerning Tirhakah, 79, Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia and Egypt, all right, because he was king of Ethiopia and Egypt, as I believe. It shows about the proximity, right? So let's say it was Ethiopia, right? Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, all right, is proving once more that all these oppressing kings came from East Africa. Just like today, they came from Europe to oppress us. All right? So, for King Tirhakah to come forth to make war with or against Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, it means that they were close to each other as far as the land is concerned. Okay, so you're meant to tell me that Tirhakah went all the way to Iran to fight? Yeah, right. There was no plane nor jet at this point of history. For the most part, they used horses, which is chariots. All right. So the king of Ethiopia, Tirhakah, while Sennacherib is warring Ezekiah, king of Judah, he went in and attacked. He went and did a quick one, like a backdoor type of situation. So the king of Assyria had to go back to war. It goes to show that Ethiopia and Assyria is in the same place, East Africa. So that is Isaiah 37 and 9 prove to us that Ethiopia, Assyria, just like Egypt, was in the east. And who's talking about Ethiopia speaks of what? Babylonian, or Babylon, ancient Babylon. All right. And another thing that I will give you, I'd like to read Deuteronomy 1:1. Yeah. In Deuteronomy 1:1, there's a key as well that you can take. All right. So let me read it first. It says, these be the word which spake unto all Israel on his side, on this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Laban, all right, and Azaroth and Dizahab. All right, now let's look into the word Dizahab. What does he mean, Dizahab? Oh, the server timeout. Okay. Let's say the server timeout. What it means of gold, basically, of plenty of gold. I'll put the timeout. I'll put that in a lesson, in the edit, so you can see. It talks about gold, plenty of gold. West Africa, the precious metal is in Africa, man. The Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, Africa, because it will be full of precious metal, precious stone, gems. Where do you find them? Mainly Africa. Why will you set up a kingdom somewhere? Sometimes it just don't make no sense, man. People, I don't know, it don't make no sense. All right, so let's read Deuteronomy 1:1. There, here, Moses is giving direction and instruction to the children in regard to the land, and there is a place called Dizahab, and guess what it means? Enough gold, right? It means enough gold, right? And you and I can agree on the fact that Africa is the land of gold. Even Ghana was known as the Gold Coast, and the biblical Ophir, which refers to the highest grade of gold, is found in Africa. All right, then you can read Joel 3:4-5. All right, brothers and sisters, the Rabachak Wadasha has spoken is showing you how to discern the hidden truth. All right, so that's what I wanted to bring, man. There's a lot more, but usually I don't even, once I give you that, I think it's enough, man, for you to understand that. Let's read Joel 3:4-5. Joel 3:4-5. All right, Joel 3:4-5 says, Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold, you see, and I've carried into your temple my godly pleasant things. Okay? We all know where they took the gold from, man. Africa. And his gold and his treasure is also, his jewel is also the people, because we got the talent. You understand what I'm saying? The people were taking Jerusalem, when people were throwing down Africa. So these are little, information that I wanted to give you. Since we don't have the luxury to do that every Saturday or every, So hopefully you were edified, man. Hopefully you were edified. With that, we're closing out. Kala Allah Yahawaha Ba'ashama Amashaha Ya Awasha'ai Barakatha. Tawadaha. Shalom to the brother. Tawadaha to the brothers and the sisters, those who follow us, Tawadaha. It was a very beautiful, time together. Hopefully you learned a lot. I learned a lot. And this ministry is showing me actually how it was back in time when the apostle was around. It showed me it wasn't like, all steady and, all the way. No, it was one day you're here, and today you're over there. That's how the spirit moves. You move like a wind. How can it be one place if you're in the spirit? No, you move. At some point, you're going to have to move according to what's coming, what's around, and things like that. All right, so shalom to all the brothers. Keep the faith. Just because we don't doesn't mean that we are all the truth. Or no, the Most High is taking us through the fire, the trial, the understanding. Is preparing us. There's a lot of things. So prepare yourself. Be strong. Be edified. Be encouraged. Read your Bible with that eye and eye, with the spiritual eye. Don't take everything that people give you. Study it. Analyze it, and let the spirit fast. You know what I'm saying? Fast, man. Fasting is very important. It gives you more clarity. There's so many things, disease, brothers are into different sort of fire, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're fighting right now. It's the fight. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High will see us through, man. The Spirit will see us through. So, that was me, your brother. I did the work. I did what I was supposed to do. I've been in this truth for like going 7 years now, complete.